What's going on, everyone? So, the Lakers have Media Day on September 30th. Lakers are also going to do a introductory kind of to the season Q&A press conference with JJ Redick as well as Rob Pelinka. I imagine it's just to kind of, hey, we made moves, we didn't make moves, here's our thought process. JJ's answering questions about like kind of his head coaching and the coaching staff and all that stuff. Just be kind of a generalized press conference, which I'm excited for, right? I love these press conferences. I love when, Rob Pelinka is willing to kind of sit down and just have these conferences, these, whether they're scheduled or unscheduled, right? I wish we had weekly press conferences as fans, right? I wish once a week we got news that hey, here's what's going on, in an update, right? Here's the weekly update from Rob Pelinka. That would be great to get those kind of things, right? We're kind of trusting the telephone game through reports and stuff to kind of get that information and, whether it's true or not true or whatever. And plus, we don't really get a lot of the ins and outs. But we are inching closer and closer to the beginning of the season, right? Again, Media Day is the 30th. Media Day will be official, and then that's it. It's the green. It's time to go, right? LeBron's training camp is probably, it could be going on right now, depending on when you're watching this video, right? All of those things signal the beginning of the season. But the Lakers have yet to make a trade. And so far, we haven't heard any real kind of that run. And look, I thought that there would be at least a little uptick. No, I didn't think it would be every day there's just 15 reports. But I thought we'd hear a little bit more about, the Portland deal and, the Nets and all this stuff. And it really hasn't, at least yet. Could that change? Could that end up picking up, right? Very possible. Also when we went and got Christian Koloko, it was is he really going to take a two-way deal? Are the Lakers working on something? So far, nothing. So it's looking more and more like the Lakers are just going to kind of run it as is and kind of figure it out come the trade deadline. Obviously, there's still reports about Giannis Valanciunas, and the Lakers are interested in him. Do they take this time to kind of evaluate Christian Koloko and then make a decision? Do we really need Valanciunas, or should we just stick with Koloko? I mean, I still think the Lakers need a trade for a center. I do. I still think even if Koloko is great, even if he's everything you want, right? I still think you need that veteran center. You need that guy with the experience that you can trust, that you can rely on. And plus, Valanciunas kind of is perfect in a lot of ways because, his contract, he's got this year, next year, and then he's got a non-guaranteed. So if, let's say, Koloko does start looking great, right? You could have Koloko kind of be the guy and then Valanciunas, being the backup and then, or vice versa. Koloko can be kind of the third guy for the next year or two. Let him kind of get his legs under him. Let him get developed, right? And then Valanciunas either just falls off the books and now Koloko steps in, or if it's early, right, let's say Koloko's ready to go the end of next year, not this year, but next year, right? Then you just let Valanciunas, you just non-guaranteed, boom, let him go, and then now Koloko can step in. Or you kind of move Valanciunas to be in the third big, right? Or what does LeBron do at that point? Does LeBron retire at that point, right? So then maybe you're moving AD to the 4 and you're moving Koloko to the 5 with Valanciunas as the primary backup. Gives you flexibility. But the Lakers, I would guess, are till the 25th. I mean, they really have until the 30th, right? If the Lakers are going to make a move or going to make a trade, they're going to do it before Media Day, right? I don't see them making a deal before Media Day, right? So, at the time of recording this video, or I guess the date in which this video is going to go up, it's the 19th, right? Or so it'd be the 20th when this video goes up because it's talking about the night before. So it's the 19th that I'm recording this, but it'll be the 20th that you're actually watching this. So you're talking 10 days that they basically have, which I guess I said about a week or so out. So I guess maybe there's still time for those rumors to kind of pick up. But I would imagine by, the 25th, more likely, if we haven't had a trade, then we won't have a trade. I think either Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick sit down at that press conference, all swag back, just pulled off this move, I pulled off this move, JJ's about to go win this chip this year, right? Or they're just going to sit down, they're going to be like, yeah, there just were no trades. That I think you're just going to get two very different press conferences depending on how this all shapes up. You either get the like, well, no deals, no one wants to trade. Everyone, if a deal is on the table, we'll definitely take it. If something's there, we'll definitely take it, which I do believe. I don't think JJ or Rob Pelinka's just saying that just to say that. I don't think Rob Pelinka's just like, oh, yeah, if a deal. No, I think he's made a trade every year he's been in office, except for last year. But that was because they wanted to run it back, right? I still think that they should have done the DeJounte Murray trade. That's just me. But like every year he's made a trade. So just his track record and history says that if he can make a trade, he's going to make a trade. So question is, does one become available? And does one become available before training camp? Ideally, you want to get something done before training camp, right? Not saying you don't, if something becomes available around the trade deadline, yes, you still do that. But ideally, you want to get whatever moves you're going to make, right? Or at least the big moves, right? Let's say Jeremy Grant or whatever. Jeremy Grant, Bruce Brown, whatever, right? You want to do those little moves or the big moves. Get that done and over with so that way you can get into training camp. Everyone understands their role. Everyone's locked in. Everyone's ready and engaged, right? And then come trade deadline, you're just kind of trying to fill in gaps, right? Like, we could use another, maybe you weren't able to get a big, right? So maybe you are getting Valanciunas, or maybe you are getting somebody else, right? So now it's like, okay, let's get this big man, or let's do this, or let's do that, right? You're kind of filling in the gaps rather than a whole roster rehaul. It's like, okay, we have 7 guys going out and 6 guys coming in, right? Let's go, babe. I don't want that because, yes, 2 years ago, the Lakers did that and they were able to get to the conference finals. But that's few and far between. That's a lot rarer than the likelihood that they just don't have the chemistry and they just get ran through, right? That's more likely than not. Now, you could argue, LeBron's done it twice. Did it in Cleveland where they basically, I think they had 11 new players come in and out. They just did an entire roster rehaul and they ended up making it to the finals. So, I guess LeBron's done it twice, but realistically, again, you don't want that. You want some chemistry. You want some understanding. You want to have that fill in, right? I would at least ideally, even if you don't do all your moves right now, that's fine. I'd like that pressure relieve move, right? I'd love for Portland just be like, all right, fine, we'll do it for first. And you go trade for Jeremy Grant, just using him as an example. Because I just think he's most realistic. I know a lot of people are always like, I'm tired of hearing about Jeremy Grant. But again, it's about what's available and what's realistic, right? I would love for the Lakers to go get Steph right now. But, how realistic is that, right? Or whoever, right? So let's say it's Jeremy Grant, right? Go get Grant. You bring Grant in. Now you kind of take the pressure off. Now there's all this excitement. There's all this hype again. Look at all the hype and... in many ways, the signing of Koloko being insanely overblown. I like Koloko a lot, but there is people are acting like we just got prime Dwight Howard. I like Koloko a lot, but he was a project even before the medical issues, right? He showed a lot of promise. I'm really high on Koloko. I think he's a center of the future. That's why I even titled the videos and stuff center of the future, not necessarily right now. Plus, he's on a 2-way, right? But the word is that eventually he will go to the main roster. The only way that happens is if you end up getting rid of somebody via a trade. So I do think the Lakers pull off a trade at some point this season. There is an argument to just kind of stand pat and run it back and let LeBron kind of restructure his contract, D'Lo and all the money fall off, and then maybe maybe you are able to bring in a Steph, or Kyrie could opt out, and the Lakers could potentially actually free up the money to sign Kyrie, right? There's some options there. There's definitely some flexibility there. So I do think there's an argument either way, but I think by the 25th we'll have our answer. Obviously, if nothing gets rumored, then probably nothing, but the Rui deal came out of left field, right? like even the Utah, like the Utah deal was rumored for like a year, but at the time in which it actually got done, came out of like left field, right? And they were able to get Jared Vanderbilt, and they were able to get D'Angelo Russell, because originally they didn't. It was, what was it? Rudy Gay, Mike Conley, and it was Rudy Gay, Mike Conley, and then Malik Beasley were the three guys that they were willing to give up for Russell Westbrook. And then the Lakers were able to, instead of Mike Conley getting D'Angelo Russell, and then also instead of Rudy Gay, were able to get Jared Vanderbilt. And the Lakers were able to make a push for the conference finals. So I do think something will get done. I do think, like, keep an eye on Washington. Right, that's probably more after December 15th, but keep an eye on Washington. Keep an eye on Portland. Right, Brooklyn. Like, some of these teams, I do think will probably cave at some point. Right, it's just like, will they do it before the media day? Right? Are some of these teams really going to want, like, does Portland really want Jeremy Grant going through media day and stuff? We'll see. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Are you excited for the season? Do you think that a trade gets done between now and media day 30th? Do you think, Lakers are just not going to do anything? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot as we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.